Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Cottage Time. Today I wanted to share some meals I've been making while I try to stretch our food and make it last to the next grocery shopping day, not have to go back to the store. I'm trying to use up items that are in the refrigerator, and that includes leftovers. We're low on vegetables, but I'm trying not to go back to the store because we have been spending way too much on the groceries lately. But I'll share some things I'm doing to make our food last us longer. First up, I just finished making bone broth with the leftover chicken carcass. I buy whole chickens for our family most of the time because we can usually get about 2 meals out of the chicken, and then I make bone broth with it, so I don't buy broth at the store anymore. I have about a quart left. I've already used several cups of it to make soup with, and then I enjoy it by the cupful also. I'll leave the recipe that I go by to make broth in the description. So technically, making the broth, I get 3 meals out of the chicken. The next meal I'm making is a pot roast in the crock pot. Another, I guess you would call it, challenge with cooking right now is our oven is broken, so I'm having to use the crock pot or just the stovetop. One thing that really helps us with groceries is that we always buy a half a beef for the year from a local farmer, and that keeps us in red meat for the whole year, and it comes out cheaper than buying it in the grocery store. I'm keeping the seasonings really simple today, just some salt and pepper, a sliced onion, and some butter. We will get 2 meals out of the roast also. We'll have it with some potatoes tonight. There wasn't enough left over for everyone to just have meat and a side, so I chopped up what was left and used it in a beef stew. I used up the last of my green beans and added carrots and English peas. I buy those two in bulk, so we have a lot of those two vegetables left. I did use the broth from the roast to make the beef stew. Another way that I stretch the groceries is we always use up the leftovers, whether that's as a snack or using it as a filler to make a whole other meal. Speaking of snacks, we pretty much stopped buying the prepackaged snacks from the grocery store. I'll have some yogurt in the refrigerator sometimes, but I've focused on buying ingredients instead of prepackaged foods. Instead of buying boxes of cereal, which you know is outrageously priced, I will make a pan of cornbread when my oven works, and we'll have a bowl of cornbread and milk for a snack. The boys and Sean love that. I pulled out a few of my favorite cookbooks. I'm going to browse through them to see if maybe some of the recipes I could make, or some of the recipes in here might give me an idea for something I could make out of the ingredients that I have. I love the Cook's Illustrated cookbooks. They are so detailed, and I like the Wise Traditions. It has some good insights in it and some good recipes. And Hemsley and Hemsley, they eat really clean and have some good cookbooks. At other times, I'll check Pinterest for inspiration or recipes. What is your go-to for inspiration and recipe ideas? For this meal, I'm just pulling out things from the fridge, and people can take and leave whatever they choose. I'm going to slice up some cucumber. We have some leftover sweet potatoes from the other night, and I boiled some eggs. We have some loaf of bread left, so I'm putting it out in case anyone wants peanut butter and jelly or an egg salad sandwich. Another thing that I do to help stretch the food to the next grocery shopping day is to have a stocked pantry. Not necessarily in bulk. I do buy some things in bulk, but like peanut butter, jelly, those type of things, I will maybe just, if I don't have a lot of extra money to spend, I might just buy one extra of several things to keep it stocked up in the pantry. That is more doable sometimes than buying a huge amount in bulk, because bulk is not always less expensive. I like to keep extra spaghetti sauce or salsa on hand. Just buying an extra jar or two of that can help with meals. Since it's so cold out, I wanted to make a creamy comfort food type of meal. Whenever I want to make this kind of meal and don't have heavy cream on hand, I will make a milk-based gravy in the pot. I have 3 potatoes left. I'm going to use 2 of them in this meal, and then I'll save one back to make hash browns or something like that. So now I'm adding the flour. I'm using cassava because I'm gluten-free, but plain white flour, whatever kind you have. I sprinkle some over the sauteed onions and garlic and butter, and then I'll brown it just a little bit to give it flavor and salt it. And then I'm going to add some milk and some water to stretch it further. I'm adding the chopped potatoes, and I had just under a half of a head of cabbage left, so I'm going to add it. And we had 2 kielbasa left in the fridge, so I chopped those 2 up. My goal is to not only stretch the food budget, but to make healthy, nutritious meals as well. Another thing you can do to help stretch the food is to add a grain like rice or grits or some beans to bulk up the meals and make them heavier. We do tend to have more meat because of buying the red meat in bulk. So throughout the year, I only have to buy chicken just sometimes. And sometimes we'll pick up a special treat like the kielbasa. Usually we don't have that. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have any tips for stretching your food budget, please leave them below. Talk to you soon.